What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Dino Trackers, Wild Wars, Diabloceratops and Dryptosaurus. Now, the Diabloceratops has the desert biome, and the Dryptosaurus has the forest biome. So we're going to be taking a look at that as well. So let's go ahead and get started, as we have already went over the packaging before. Alright, so here is the Diabloceratops, and this particular species is a ceratopsian, and also it lived in the late Cretaceous period. So the name Diabloceratops is referred to the devil, as if you look at the skull and where the horn placements are, this is why they named it that. You know, Diablo means devil in Spanish, and Ceratops is in Greek, means horn-faced. So you could tell that just by the way they have the horns are. That's what it looked like when it was first discovered. So, and like I mentioned before, they said that this is part of the desert biome. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a closer look at it. Alright, so we've got everything out of its packaging. So here is the first two things that that came in it. We've already looked at these before, so if you haven't watched the previous video, please do so. I explain what these are. And so, but we are going to be taking a look at the instructions that it comes with. So it's pretty much the same thing that we've seen before. The only difference is that the species that it's talking about. So basically, here's the front of the instructions right here, and then shows you how to insert the tail, as it is a one-time assembly. And then over here tells you how to operate the switch that's on the back of the species, and let you know that it does make sound. And then lastly, it just tells you about the battery placement and what kind of batteries it takes. And that is it for the instructions. So let's go ahead and turn this Diabloceratops around and insert the tail right there. And so before we get started, before I forget, here is the scan for the fax app for any of those who need it. Alright, so I must say, this is a very nice looking figure. It's not as heavy as I expect it to be because of how thick it is, but this is a medium-sized ceratopsian, and I really do like the fact that it gave the color that it gave it because of the actual name, Diabloceratops. So who knows if it was actually a red figure, or not red figure, a red ceratopsian back in the day. I do like the fact that they gave it a little black tip for the tail, so I guess we can't really complain that it never did paint the tail. But you can see that this was molded in this type of plastic, but there was just alright, calm down. So I mean, you can tell it was spray painted here on the back, the red color, because of the way the kind of blends in right there. Can't talk today for some reason. But anyways, I do like the head sculpt. I do like the fact that they did include some paint on the beak and on the horns, but I do wish that they would have painted the sides of the horns too, add a little bit more color. They decided, well, we're just going to give them a little paint there and on the beak and around the eyes, but we're just going to skip out on the horns on the sides of the frill so we can save money. So I guess they had to pick their battles when they did this. So I do notice that on the beak on mine, how that bled in right there. But if you look on the other side, it's perfect for the most part. You know, it did miss a little spot right there, but you could tell it bled in on this side right there. And I do like that they actually did paint this as well, as, you know, this is all painted in and stuff like that. So I do like the body type, how they gave it this particular species. You can tell it was as a kind of a fat creature, and you know, not much muscular structure. It's got a lot of wrinklings here in the neck, right there, and around the shoulders, right there, and then got a little bit of wrinkling around the hind legs, and then here in the stomach, right there, and along the neck here at the bottom. I like how they gave the neck some wrinkles there as well, and a little bit of muscular structure here in the hind legs, here in the calf area, and then in the front, you know, you can tell kind of got a little wrinkling here in the back of the front legs right there, and around the elbow joints right there. So kind of reminiscent of like a hippo or a rhino. So, and then you got the muscle structures here. You could tell here on this particular leg it's a little bit different because you got the wrinkling and muscle right there. But there here on the back, it's more dented in here, and then a little bit less wrinkling here. And here, same thing on this side as well on the front legs. So, I guess it doesn't like to be handled like that for whatever reason. But overall, aside from the paint scheme, I do really like this figure, as I pretty much say on all my videos, which is true. I do like all of Mattel's figures that they do. You know, some of the questionable paint schemes that they give them, but aside from that, the paint scheme does fit it. You know, I really do feel like it matches the name. You know, Diabloceratops. So. But I do like the fact that they did give a little bit of black outline right there along the eyes. You know, it just pains me that they don't paint the rest of the horns. And I don't think when they discussed, I think they just added that. But I think the actual species didn't have this. You know, I don't think they had that at all. And but then again, this is Jurassic World, you know, so. Looks cool, but that's not the actual skull or what it came with. So, but it would have been a lot better if they would have just painted the frills and the side horns in that one, like I mentioned before. But as far as articulation goes, you know, the tail goes 360, and legs go in and out. Get the thigh joint, you know, forwards and backwards. Same thing here, forwards and backwards, the thigh joint there, and then the ball and hinge here on the front legs, forwards and backwards, in and out. So, and then as far as the action feature goes, there's the button right there, and then just turn the head. Oh, wow. Well, this is a first. I think my sounds, whoa. Looks like I need to change out the batteries or something. Because, well, that's a first. Well, anyways, looks like we might have to change out the batteries, or the electronics was just going out. Or maybe I just got a faulty Diabloceratops. Wow. Oh well. Oh, there you go, folks. That's the sounds that it makes. A beeping sound. Didn't know ceratopsians make beeping sounds. But anyways, so aside from all that, that's just how you have to move the buttons back and forth so the head can go side to side. Oh. It works, or a little bit. So, but yeah, those are the sounds that it makes. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons with some of the species that it lived alongside with. So the first one we'll bring out is the Zuniceratops. So Zuniceratops was a smaller ceratopsian, as well as the Protoceratops that also lived alongside it. So this is a little bit bigger than what it should be. It should be like maybe half this size, but it is what it is. So these are some of the other ceratopsians that the Diabloceratops lived alongside with. And for a human comparison, we'll bring out Game Warden Robert Muldoon. So as far as size comparisons, yeah, it's pretty much accurate to what it's supposed to be as far as in scale in real life. Maybe a little bit smaller, but that's pretty much right for the most part. And also, for another fun size comparison, I do want to bring out, let's scoot him over here. I do want to bring out a rhinoceros. So, we got a rhino right here. And it's pretty much in scale for the most part. Maybe a little bit oversized, but yeah, that's pretty much right for the most part. So I thought that would have been a fun comparison. So there you go. Overall, besides the faulty sounds that it was given to me, I really do like the sculpt. Love the paint scheme. Like I said, I wish they would just paint the rest of the horns, you know, just to add a little bit more pop to it on the face and frills. But aside from that, it's a great figure, you know. So, very happy to have it in my ceratopsian collection. Alright, next up is the Dryptosaurus, and this is part of the forest biome, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And this particular species belongs to the Tyrannosauridae family. And what's interesting is that the fact that it was when it was discovered back in the mid-1800s, and this was probably one of the first theropod dinosaurs that it was known to science, you know, very first discovered, you know, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And yeah, originally it was classified as part of the Megalosauridae family, but they discovered that initially that the bone structures was kind of like of a Tyrannosaurus, so they decided to go ahead put it in the Tyrannosauridae family. And what's also interesting about it is these elongated arms and claws right here, and the fact that the Tyrannosaurus or species itself, you know, not what am I trying to say? I'm sorry. The species itself has the elongated arms and talons. And the word drypto means to tear, you know. So that's why they call it the Dryptosaurus. And so this is probably one of the only species in the Tyrannosaur family that has arms like this, you know. I thought that was pretty interesting, you know. I've never even heard of a Dryptosaurus until this came out. And if I did, I don't remember it back in the day. So, but very cool information, you know, and this did live in the late Cretaceous period as well. So let's go ahead and take it out of its box, as we already went over the packaging before. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. Alright, so we got everything out of its packaging, and we've already been over this before, so we'll go ahead and set that aside. We'll take a look at the instructions. Again, this is pretty much the same thing, except for the only thing that's different is the species that it's talking about. So, pretty much one-time assembly for the tail. And then here is the instructions on how to operate the mechanism in the back, the switch, and also let you know that it makes sounds. And here we have where information goes to change out the batteries and what type of batteries that it does take and how to dispose of them properly. So let's go ahead and do our tail assembly. And there we go. Looking easy. Now this is very interesting how they made their Dryptosaurus. You know, I don't even know if this even looks like what it's supposed to, because I think from my understanding, from what I saw, is that they didn't have a full skeletal structure. All they found was like bits and pieces throughout the body, and the main thing that really got them was the arms and the talons, you know. So, but other than that, Mattel made a interesting design for this particular species. How it's all spiked out all across the tail. And here it even adds the claw here. It's all elongated as well. So very interesting how they did the sculpt of this particular species, you know. And to think that this is part of the Tyrannosaurus family is even more interesting in itself. But like I said, you know, they found the skeletal structure to be kind of similar to what a Tyrannosaurus is. So that's why they reclassified it in that family instead of the Megalosaur family. So here is the fax app code if y'all need it. There you go. So as far as the design and the way this thing looks, it's like I said, it's very interesting. You could tell that this was painted. This was made out of this gray plastic, and then they gave it a very unique paint scheme. So basically, it's like black on gray tone paint scheme right there. And then the only thing that's different as far as coloration goes is this kind of like, I want to say purple color right here along the snout that they gave it right there and right there. So that's the only thing that kind of sticks out as far as other colorations go. And then the eyes are on point on both sides of the figure. And I do like the fact that they gave him these little spikes on top of the frill, on the head. Not frill, but on top of the head. And you can tell that's a different piece right there. That's a separate piece. So, and then it goes all the way down here. And then all the way down to the tail. And then they gave him spikes all across the sides. So, very cool design. Weird, but cool at the same time. But I really do like the coloration and contrast to how they painted this particular species, you know. It sucks that they didn't continue on with the black right there. I would have been okay with that, you know, but I just wish that it kind of cut off right there. That would have been pretty cool. But, you know, do like the way how they painted this thing up, you know, very interesting. And as far as the sculpt goes in itself and the body, you can tell it's got the little peppling right there on the hind legs. And then especially on the arms, you know, more of a kind of like chicken-like fingers right there where the design is right there. And then here on the feet as well. And it gave it a long claw right there here on the back. So I thought that was interesting. But other than that, not much muscular structure as far as this particular species goes. You know, is this. But anyways, you know, you could tell it gave it a little bit of muscular structure right there, but it's not as deep as some other species would be. So little lines right there, and then here on the side of the stomach a little bit, rib cage area, the arms. The arms are pretty muscular though, you know. So, like I said, I do like the texturing that they gave it, you know. It's not as rough, but it's not as smooth either. So as far as the way of articulation goes, you know, the tail goes 360, and then in and out, forwards and backwards, the inner thigh, and then here, inner thigh, forwards and backwards, and then the arms are on a ball and hinge, in and out, up and down, you know, both sides, And then, as far as the action feature goes, hopefully it doesn't fault out on me like it did with the Diabloceratops, but interesting sounds. Never heard those sounds before, so I think that's pretty unique. Now, is that really what it sounds like in real life? Who knows? But I do like the sounds for this. You know, it doesn't sound like a herbivore or anything like that. You know, it sounds more like a theropod. You know, so. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some comparisons with some species that it lived alongside with in the late Cretaceous. So, you can't have a Tyrannosaurid relative without having the actual Tyrannosaurus doing a comparison with. So, they did classify this thing as a large carnivore, but to me I think it's more of a medium-sized carnivore. And then, you know, we do have the Alioramus that it lived alongside with as well. So all of these is one part of the one big family, the Tyrannosauridae family. And then we'll go ahead as far as the human comparison. We'll bring out Robert Muldoon, the game warden. And so as far as accuracy goes, it's pretty much on point. This is, like I said, this is a medium-sized carnivore, even though they classify it as a large, but medium to me. Large is more like Tyrannosaurus Rex. So, very cool comparisons. I really do like that. I do like the fact that we are getting a lot of family members for different species, like the Tyrannosauridae family, the Ceratopsians, and Stegosauridae, and all that stuff. So, well, I hope you all enjoyed that review as much as I did filming it. Aside from the faulty sounds that was coming from the Diabloceratops, I really do like these two species. I'm glad I have them in the collection because they're brand new species to my collection. And comment down below what you think of these two species and which one is your favorite. And don't forget, words to wisdom. Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you will always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.